Welcome to NYNJPA Weather. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, and we have a lot to talk about today with the threat for severe weather. This is our surface map as of 10 a.m. this morning, and you can see that there's a warm front over central Pennsylvania and southern Pennsylvania that is gradually moving northeast. Now, once this warm front moves through, the skies will clear and temperatures are going to jump into the 70s and 80s. This is well above normal for this time of year. In fact, portions of the Philadelphia metropolitan area and the Delaware River Valley could see anywhere between temperatures in the lower to mid 80s. We're talking about 81 to 85 degrees for this time of year. That's pretty impressive. But we have a strong cold front over the Ohio River Valley, and that cold front is going to create some problems for us later this evening into the overnight hours with strong to severe thunderstorms. But there are some key factors to keep an eye on over the next several hours as to the extent of severe weather. Let's take a look at the visible satellite picture. This is the visible satellite picture as of 10:30 a.m. and as you can see there's plenty of low clouds hanging around the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. What I'm expecting is that these low clouds to break up as we move through the early afternoon hours, allowing temperatures to rapidly rise into the 70s and 80s throughout much of the region. The only locations that won't see temperatures in the upper 70s will likely be around Long Island and southern Connecticut, where winds are from the southwest, which will come right off the Atlantic Ocean. So those locations will likely remain in the upper 60s to lower 70s. However, over eastern Pennsylvania, the fact that temperatures are going to be able to rise into the lower to mid 80s once these clouds break up means that the atmosphere would become rapidly unstable. And when you have a very unstable atmosphere combined with the cold front approaching, that creates a threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, if I'm looking for the best potential for severe weather, I would look anywhere from Scranton down to Reading, Pennsylvania, and off towards Lancaster, Pennsylvania on west. Those locations will be the most likely to see severe weather because the cold front will be approaching early enough to take advantage of the instability, and that's where the best dynamics are going to be as we move into the early evening hours. So I'm looking for an impact anywhere between 7 and 9 p.m. in these locations. However, as we move towards the Delaware River Valley and towards the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, the cold front will approach well after sunset, somewhere around 9 to 11 p.m. And because the cold front is going to be approaching so late in the evening, the thunderstorms will be weakening at a steady rate, which means that for the most part, severe weather will be more isolated in nature, but still possible. And then as we move along the immediate coast, because temperatures were cool to begin with and the atmosphere was more stable, by the time that thunderstorms reach the New Jersey coast and parts of Long Island and Connecticut, they will become what we call elevated, which basically means a lot of heavy rain and some strong winds. The strongest thunderstorms would be capable of wind gusts over 50 miles per hour, small to medium sized hail, frequent lightning, and heavy downpours. So if you're caught in one of these lines of thunderstorms tonight, pull to the side of the road and wait for the storms to clear out. It should take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes as this line blows through. Then we have another problem setting up for Tuesday evening into Wednesday. This is the 500 millibar pattern for tonight. Now notice the area I have encircled in yellow. This is a strong disturbance that's hanging back a little bit more to the southwest, and we're going to see this type of pattern develop more and more as we move into spring. What's basically happening is that the polar jet stream is rapidly moving west to east along the Canadian border. And then we get these disturbances that break off at the base of the trough, hang back a little bit, and are able to cut off into upper level lows. That unfortunately creates a lot of volatility in the forecasting and also creates the potential for a lot of rain. And unfortunately, it looks like that's exactly what's going to start to develop Tuesday night into Wednesday. And as we can see by Tuesday night at 500 millibars, that upper level low is sitting over Virginia, and that means we're going to have a southeasterly flow coming off the Atlantic at almost all levels of the atmosphere. That should produce a period of moderate to heavy rain at times over the immediate coast, especially the New York City metropolitan area and the New Jersey coast, where rainfall amounts could easily exceed over an inch of rain. Now we're going to have to watch the exact track of this low pressure system and also how fast this low pressure system moves. But it looks like Tuesday evening on through much of the day on Wednesday is going to be rather wet and raw. The only good news is that clearly there's no cold air in place because all that cold air is up in Canada. So expect temperatures basically around 60 degrees on Wednesday for highs. Yes, it'll be cool, yes, it'll be raw, but at least it won't be snowy. And at the surface, you can see that the low pressure system over Virginia will slowly move towards the New Jersey coastal waters on Wednesday morning and afternoon, and then exit out of the area by Wednesday night. Now, the high pressure system that is sitting over Quebec will slowly build south on Wednesday night and set up for the rest of the week. So we can expect dry conditions throughout much of the day on Thursday and for much of the day on Friday. In fact, temperatures will be rather nice with basically near normal for this time of year. Temperatures in the mid 60s for most locations. And lows won't be all that bad either, basically in the upper 40s to lower 50s. So clearly we are in a spring pattern. Unfortunately, we have another area low pressure that will be developing over the Mississippi River Valley. And this low pressure system, well, it's going to produce another potential for heavy rain, or maybe not. Let me show you something at 500 millibars. At 500 millibars on Friday evening, the upper level low starts to develop over the northern Mississippi River Valley. And this is very interesting because if this upper level low tracks towards the eastern Great Lakes, what we end up with is a very warm pattern on Saturday, followed by a threat for showers and thunderstorms. And some of these thunderstorms could be rather severe late Saturday night into Sunday. However, if the upper level tracks more towards the Delmarva Peninsula, what we end up with is another wet, raw day for Saturday and into much of Sunday. So we either end up with a so-so weekend with a very warm afternoon on Saturday, or we end up with a complete washout for next weekend. So we're going to have to keep an eye on exactly where this upper level low tracks and where the surface low also tracks. So there's a lot up in the air for next weekend, but regardless of where this low pressure system tracks, it looks like we're going to remain in a very active pattern. And as you can see on Friday evening, the question with this surface low will once again be, will it track towards the Delmarva Peninsula and produce a very wet weekend for the entire northern Mid-Atlantic, or will it track up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley and produce a very warm afternoon on Saturday afternoon, followed by a line of strong to severe thunderstorms? The track is key, but right now we're going to have to wait it out and see exactly how this upper level low develops. My guess is that this upper level low is going to form a little bit further south than what guidance is showing, and then track towards central and eastern Pennsylvania. We're going to have to keep an eye on this again and see exactly how it moves and how well it develops. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Stay safe out there this evening.